does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
This past month has been huge for new game releases, but when having to choose just one to focus on, the undeniable pick has to be Spider-Man 2. Regardless of any particular Spidey game's story, if you can swing around and acrobatically beat criminals into a fine pulp, you're sure to have a good time. That being said, after the tremendous success of the first Insomniac Spider-Man game and its follow-up Miles Morales, this new installment was a sure bet to deliver similar thrills. This series has earned its success thanks to its exceptional storytelling, captivating graphics, and immersive world. While Miles Morales was a much shorter game, it acted as a bridge between the two main titles, introducing players to the titular character's unique abilities and growth. Spider-Man 2 follows the stories of both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, allowing players to switch between the two. As they grapple with the constant struggle to find balance between their personal lives and the duties of their heroic alter egos, a familiar face from Peter's past makes a miraculous return. Harry Osborn, Peter's childhood friend, reappears having seemingly recovered from a once fatal illness. He offers Peter an intriguing opportunity to join his groundbreaking startup, the Emily May Foundation, which is dedicated to pioneering various scientific endeavors with the aim of healing the world. However, as our two Spider-Men try to navigate their complicated lives, a new threat emerges in the form of Kraven the Hunter, who descends upon New York City with a deadly mission. His intent? To hunt superpowered individuals for sport. This sinister pursuit sets in motion a series of events that will pit the two Spider-Men against a roster of formidable adversaries, both familiar and entirely new. As always, I'll do my best to avoid giving away any plot spoilers. However, it's essential to remember not to make assumptions about the storyline based on the costumes you might see in the video. Throughout the game, you'll find a variety of suits that can be unlocked for both Peter and Miles, most of which are included for fun and have no direct connection to the narrative. So with that disclaimer in mind, let's dive right in. Spider-Man 2 utilizes the same iconic map of New York as the previous games,
New York City,
but additionally expands into Brooklyn and Queens. The attention to detail in this installment surpasses that of the already intricate predecessors. The increased environmental detail didn't strike me at first, but after revisiting the previous games for comparison after so many years, the difference was immediately noticeable. As expected from this series, the map is brimming with details that breathe life into the world. From the bustling shops and businesses that line the streets, to the street art, graffiti, and intricate murals, it's all designed to make the city feel authentically lived in. And of course, there are countless Easter eggs to be found, nodding to the broader Marvel universe. The standout feature that sets this game apart from the previous two is the ability to play as two different Spider-Men, each with their unique abilities and style. To accommodate this, the game introduces 3 separate skill trees for upgrading combat and traversal. One for Peter, one for Miles, and one shared between them. Additionally, players can further enhance their gameplay by upgrading suit tech and gadgets. Gadgets in the game are craftable combat tools, but are often automatically replenished through combat bonuses, ensuring you won't frequently exhaust your resources. There are 5 distinct gadgets, each of which can be individually upgraded for enhanced effectiveness. The web shooters allow you to quickly web up enemies with rapid-fire shots. The upshot launches enemies into the air, making them vulnerable to air combos. The web grabber pulls multiple enemies together, setting them up for area of effect attacks. The sonic burst can stun or knock back enemies, and is upgraded from the concussion burst for obvious reasons. And the ricochet web bounces between enemies, allowing you to web up multiple foes simultaneously. Suit tech upgrades offer an array of bonuses across health, damage, focus, and traversal. When upgrading these attributes, it not only enhances their base stats, but also unlocks unique benefits. Upgrading health allows for certain actions to slightly heal your character, enhancing your endurance. As you level up damage, you'll deal more damage when executing specific actions, making you a more formidable Spidey. Increasing focus provides additional focus bars, which can be used for healing or executing powerful finishing moves. Upgraded focus tech offers other perks as well, such as faster focus regeneration and slowing time before taking a fatal hit. Upgrading traversal, as the name implies, amplifies your abilities in running, jumping, swinging, and gliding with the all-new cutting-edge web wings for a more agile and efficient Spidey. A quick side note, the web wings were an absolute blast to use, although at times it almost felt like you were playing as a different superhero altogether. It's not a complaint, but it does take a bit of adjustment seeing Spider-Man soaring through the skies of New York City.
New York City.
As you progress through the story, you'll find that Peter and Miles each have their own missions, often splitting up to complete separate tasks in order to accomplish a common goal, though they will occasionally fight side by side in larger battles, allowing for awesome cinematic combo takedowns. Speaking of which, Spider-Man 2, much like its predecessors, is highly cinematic, and in my opinion, should be experienced in fidelity mode, prioritizing image quality over frame rate, at least for the first playthrough. This cinematic quality isn't confined to the main storyline alone. The majority of side quests are exceptionally well crafted and are seamlessly woven into the larger narrative. The outcomes of these side quests are deliberately presented to underscore their substantial implications for an inevitable new installment or DLC. As I've mentioned, I'm avoiding divulging any narrative spoilers in this video, so I'm going to refrain from talking about or showing what was my favorite aspect of this game. But if you've even so much as seen the box art for this game, you should be aware that Venom plays a major role. As someone who grew up watching the 90s Spider-Man animated series, Venom has always been one of my favorite Marvel villains, and the symbiote's expanded lore has always been so captivating. So without getting into any specifics, not only did this game offer a Venom performance highly reminiscent of the animated series, but it goes so hard on the expanded lore of the symbiotes. I think I'll leave it at that since there's not much I can say without getting into spoiler territory. But everything they did with Venom was amazing and made me a very happy boy. This is one of those games where a traditional review almost feels unnecessary, but it's not without its flaws, some of which could potentially be addressed in future updates. I did encounter a few crashes and bugs, such as Peter's inability to stand after sitting on a bench.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
These issues didn't occur frequently, but are worth noting. Additionally, some of the side quests felt a bit lacking. In contrast to those that set the stage for future events, some were clearly intended to be little emotional, feel-good, friendly neighborhood type tasks, but fell short in depth and ended up just feeling like pointless tedium. My biggest criticism, without a doubt, revolves around the costume selection. While the game does offer a decent variety of costumes, a good chunk from the first game are gone. It always bothers me to see content from one game be removed in its sequel. To add insult to injury, 10 costumes are locked behind the Digital Deluxe Edition, and paying an extra $10 just for a few cosmetic items on top of a full-price game feels a little excessive. Despite these minor criticisms, the game as a whole lives up to expectations and is an absolute blast. The gameplay mechanics are solid, and the storyline is genuinely gripping. The well-developed relationships among the main characters is the perfect launchpad to have Venom act on and effectively weave a narrative about finding balance. The game's duration is also worth noting. In a time when many game worlds are overly bloated with needless content to artificially prolong playtime, this game takes a refreshing approach. I personally appreciate games that can be completed within a reasonable time frame over those burdened with an abundance of extraneous content. If you have a PlayStation, this whole franchise is certainly one of the must-plays for the platform. Any Spider-Man fan who's played this game knows that it's filled with hints of what's to come, whether in the form of DLC or a new installment. So beyond these teases, what are your wildest hopes for the future of the series? Personally, I'd love to see an adaptation of the Man-Spider story. Not the deepest content, I know, but I'd just love to see this done in Insomniac's world. So I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. What would you like to see? If you've enjoyed this content, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. And as always, I hope you'll join me in the next one. I've been Punch and Funk. Keep it funky, fellas.